Welcome to the Gyms Near Me podcast, brought to you by GoRx Fitness. In this episode, Trevor and I sit down with the man, the myth, the legend, and the dude, Andrew Schubert from Dude That Lifts. We get into entrepreneurship, creating community, and building a brand from a garage gym. So let's dive in.
And I'm joined here by our brand manager, Jeff Murphy, and Andrew Schubert. And thank you for coming on, Andrew.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I think we got a lot in common, and I'm excited to see where this conversation goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're excited to have you on. We've been following you for a while. Jeff has been talking you up to us for a little while now too, and been singing your praises. And so we're like, that'd be great to get together and have a conversation and kind of get to know you and get to know your thoughts on home gyms and micro gyms and all that stuff, and kind of get into what you're working on.
Yeah, I think 2020 made it really apparent how important home gyms were when the entire world lost access to their public gyms. We were very fortunate in that we had kind of built out a small home gym for ourselves that was enough to get by. It wasn't amazing, but it was good enough.
Mm-hmm.
I was working in the oil field at the time in 2020, and I got laid off in April of 2020 and came home and kind of had a little bit of an identity crisis, I guess. My wife and I got really, really dialed on nutrition, and we used what we had and just kind of went all in on ourselves, mental health, physical health. We both got like super shredded and just used the tools we had, but that didn't like really give me any work. So we started kind of leaning into the stuff we were passionate with, and that's where we came up with our brand. And there towards the end of 2020, we leaned really hard into that home gym and started pumping out gym apparel. We were peddling everything out of our garage, our guest bedroom. It got pretty chaotic there for a little bit, but I mean, I wouldn't trade any of it for the world. I saw an opportunity. You know, the entire world was shut down and everybody was on the internet. And then I saw the garage gym thing like really taken off. So we leaned really hard into that. And that's really found like our people. The brand really resonated well with the home gym, especially when we started offering flags. Like I can see the flag behind Jeff. I got the same flag hanging here. We've got these flags in like thousands and thousands of garage gyms around the country and a few around the world. We've shipped like 7 or 8 different countries, but that's really where my like obsession with the home gym came from. Our home gyms evolved a lot. We've got more space, and we moved a few times as far as operations go. And now I've just built like our own private gym, like of my fantasy. That's I can't really say we have a home gym anymore, but we've got a private gym that's pretty dope. So it's been a hell of a ride, man. There's ups and downs. I feel like the garage gym should be here to stay. I don't know what the future of the garage gym looks like, but I know that for me, like anybody that owns their own gym has access to freedom at their fingertips if something is to go wrong. Like they can't take the gym away from me because I have my own.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I think that I got really fortunate. I would say the summer of 2019 is when I purchased kind of the majority of all my equipment that I had in my gym during COVID and everything. And I had it all set up and ready to go and started working out in there and canceled my 24-hour membership or whatever CrossFit club I was a member of at the time. And I was just like, all right, I'm going to keep working out from home. And yeah, then 2020 hit, and that's when the idea for kind of a GoRx style business, came about. Andrew, my co-founder, he was stationed in Afghanistan and had a nice home gym at home. And he was like, I got to figure out a way to pay for that and everything while he's gone and make sure it's getting utilized. And so he had this same idea, and we ended up joining forces a couple years ago. So, but yeah, when I was working out in the home gym and everything, I was posting just pictures of finished workout or what my WOD was for the day and some aftermath stuff and everything. And people were asking and being like, hey, can I come by and work out? And I was just like, there's got to be a way to organize this and get it, make it a thing and turn it into a business. And so, yeah, it's funny how kind of that necessity can prompt just an idea, and it can just turn into a business, just like yours. How you've
Yeah,
just
man.
it
Like
just sparked that idea.
2020 created a lot of different divides that we don't need to get into, but one big divide, one big divide that I do want to jump into is there was like a lot of opportunity if people were open to it. A lot of people got left in the dust, and a lot of people like really leaned into all the opportunity that was out there.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, like you're saying, anybody with the home gym, that was an opportunity of some sort. People might not have known what it was, but
Hmm.
yeah, definitely opportunity. I think there's opportunity everywhere if people would just like look around and not be bummed out or be pissed off about like what was going on around them.
Yeah. Yeah, not be
But
discouraged, right? Not
yeah,
not get discouraged by the circumstances, but then just adapt and overcome and try to make the best of it. Yeah, I agree.
yeah, man.
Um, so let's see. You basically started your business in 2020. What kind of where do you think you reached that tipping point of when you were starting to put out content and starting to do things and everything? And what was there an event that happened at the time that kind of tipped over, or you just started seeing more and more people following, more and more people listening to your message, and then started getting that apparel out?
Yeah, we officially launched the website December 15th of 2020, and it was just after the first of the year, January 2020, we started selling the flags. And the t-shirts, we had sold a few friends here and there. We weren't spending very much money, but in January when we got the flags, like we started spending some money on ads, and we kind of had a perfect storm. Like the garage gym was hot, everything was shut down, everybody's on the computer, and Facebook ads were dirt cheap. So we found like we used the most basic ad, and it was just a picture of one of these flags in my garage, and like I built out my garage gym to not be real garagey. Like I put fake brick
Oh,
walls in there just to try to make it so there's not like paint buckets and everything in all my pictures. And so I had this flag hanging on just like a fake red brick wall, and the copyright or the message on the ad was super basic, but it kind of made people think about their own garage gym.
mhm.
And that ad took off. Like we started spending like $1,000 a day on this ad and making 3x that in sales for like 2 months. So like this flag just exploded, and we were shipping them like all 50 states. We still ship like probably all 50 states every month, but like that first 2 months is what set us up to where we have like a real foundation
Yeah.
now. And I'm very thankful we got in when we did. I mean, it would have been awesome if we would have got in a little bit sooner and had
Mhm.
a little bit more fun with those cheap ads. But we got in just in time to like catch the tail end of the cheap ads and that perfect storm of everything still being shut down. And that got us in front of everybody we needed to. And I mean, we sold a ton of flags, which is great, but then we built a community behind that.
Yeah.
And the garage gym thing was huge in that people tagging us in the garage gyms all the time. And it was so cool to just see the diversity of garage gyms. You'd see like a tent with a squat rack in it, or like something outside like on grass, and then you'd see like the she sheds and like this one chick. What's our audience look like? Can I say bad words on here?
We don't discourage it or anything.
This chick, this lady sent a picture, and she's like, "This is my bitch barn," and it was a huge barn, like a finished out barn, and like 15-foot ceilings in there, just this amazing space. And that was probably like my favorite part about the content being shared with us, is just seeing like how personalized and how diverse every garage gym is, because there's no
Yeah.
two that are alike. But I mean, they've all got, you can see like what people prioritize, whether they're powerlifting or whether they're like more into the cardio side or the CrossFit side. You can see it. Like you could tell a lot about somebody just by looking into their garage, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. It's like it's their own
I thought it was really
personality,
cool.
right? Yeah. It's their
Yeah.
personality reflected by their equipment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, my garage gym is the most decorated and developed room in my whole house.
There's nothing wrong with that, man.
Nope,
Yeah.
nope.
That's
So,
awesome.
question for you. So, when you launched the website, you started with the flags. Was there ever a moment of like, oh shit, like this is really taking off? Like, can I keep up with this? And like, how did you handle any of those feelings?
Yeah, it was my first $2,000 day. Like when we had our first $2,000 day, I was like immediately your brain, like my brain operates like, if we do this every day for the next year, we're looking at like starting a business with $1 million a year. Like, what the hell is going on? And then the next thing is like, how am I going to keep up? So we actually ran out of inventory twice that first couple months, just couldn't keep up with the flags, but we've got better systems in place now. And then we started moving to apparel, like a lot heavier. We did see a shift, and it was later on in 2021. The garage gyms, I wouldn't say that like people were selling all their stuff, but they weren't as hot. That audience just wasn't as hot anymore. I don't know if people had already gotten all the flags they needed, or if people were just getting back to the gym when everything started opening back up. So we started leaning a lot heavier into apparel. And we've been able to take that foundation of the flags and the garage gym and really like lean into the apparel side of things. I mean, we've got excellent customer retention. Somehow, I guess there's some magic involved, some personality involved, some of the stuff we did. Like, I didn't have any real experience with like customer journey or anything like that. I just knew that, like, as a customer, I like to be treated right, and I like communication, and I like prompt service, but I also like a little bit of something personal. So we still write personal thank you notes with every order that goes out, and we try to like really have that family feel. I mean, we're not a huge business. We do really good, but it's me and my wife like running the business, and like she just left to go to the post office to drop off bags of apparel and stuff. But we just try to make people feel valued, and I think that that's really part of the thing that's helped us like keep going the way we do and have the ridiculous following we do. Like, even on social, we don't have a huge following, but we do have a Facebook group, and there's a ton of value in that. We've got 2,000 people in there, and it's super engaged. And if I want to use that to monetize, I can go in there and I can sell anything. I try not to make that about the money, right? It's more about the community behind the brand. But it's good to have that. Like, if I launch a new shirt, like, we go to that Facebook group and sell it before it makes like the actual drop. We let people see it, we share it. Like, I just printed the shirt I'm wearing today. Like, this is the first one. And we're like slowly pushing that out into our Facebook group. And then when the drop time does come, and everybody in the Facebook group's already seen it, they already own it up here. It sells, and it sells like really big. So
that's awesome.
I think,
and that group gets
the community is incredible.
That group gets to kind of be a part of that creation process, right? Because you're kind of throwing those ideas out there and just saying, this is our next thing, and seeing what everybody's responding to, and then you get kind of that first little focus group. So that's really cool. What's the name of that group that you have?
It's the Dude the Lifts community on Facebook. Okay. There might be an official in there. Dude the Lifts official community, or Dude the Lifts community. There are some rules, some agreements that you have to make prior to joining, and that's just because I don't want spam in there. That group could be 100,000 deep right now, but we make everybody answer questions, and then we actually go through every one of them. Like, I don't have a bot set up on there or anything. Like, I go through every one of them and make sure that they answered, just so I figure if they take the time to answer the questions, that they're worth coming in.
So it's genuine.
But, we definitely go for quality over quantity on that. I mean, I'd love to have 10,000 people in there, because then the ideas get bigger and the drops get bigger, but it's more important to me that everybody feels comfortable in there. And I hate the term safe space, but that's what it is. Like, people can go in there and they're not worried about like any weird like creeps or anything like that in there.
It's a tight knit community in there, and they're all trying each other for the most part. That's awesome. I could see how that would be just extremely valuable from the standpoint of even just being able to communicate with your kind of most loyal fan base, right?
Right.
Your most loyal set of people, not even necessarily customers. They most likely are all customers, but it's all people that are just enthusiastic about your brand or just the community in general. And so, yeah, that's really cool. What prompted you to build that community out?
We did a project. We did a full project behind like that drop, the One Nation Under the Bar.
Okay.
We were only like 4 months into business probably, and I came up with that idea, especially with like the division that was going on in that early 2021. It got ugly. It's still ugly, but it got really ugly. The mainstream media just had a heyday with the riots and all that shit that was going on. So
Yeah.
we came up with that. It's just simple. Like the bar treats everybody the same. It weighs the same. It doesn't matter if you're straight,
Yeah.
gay, what God you pray to, or if you pray to a God. It doesn't matter like what color you are. Like the bar just treats you the same. And I thought that was very important at the time to try to bring the fitness community to like try to pull politics out of the fitness community. So we got as many people as we could on Instagram that had tagged us in the past over the last few months, and had them just send in a video of them lifting. And so we got like the most diverse group. Like I was going after people. This is going to sound like I was picking based off of all these things we're not supposed to be divided on, right? But I wanted a video that showed absolute diversity between men, women, different color, different size, different shape. And then obviously their garage gyms that showed their personalities. So we ended up with like 50 people that sent videos, and then we put together like this production for this drop for that flag and some shirts. And the people that had submitted all their stuff wanted to keep communicating, and they wanted a group. And so one of them suggested, like, can we just take this to Facebook? And I was like, I don't want to. Like, I don't want a Facebook group. At the time I didn't have the time to. I've been a part of some other Facebook groups where it's really hard to grow, really hard to establish culture, and really hard to keep that engagement going. So I knew what it meant if I started a Facebook group, like how much work I had to dedicate to this thing. Well, they talked me into it, and we started this Facebook group, and it took itself. Like, dude, it was amazing. I'm still very active in there, but no more active than a member. Like I can just drop in, take a gym selfie or something, and drop a couple comments on the daily check-ins that are in there, and it takes care of itself. Once in a while I have to do some admin duties. I think we've had to kick like 3 people out over the last 3 years.
Oh, that's pretty fortunate. I mean, man, with as chaotic as society has been, only having to kick out 3 people, that's pretty good. Nice. Jeff, I know that you're going to have to run here in a second. Do you have any questions for Andrew before you drop out?
So one thing that I picked up on that you mentioned is just the diversity of the different types of gyms. Like you see your flag in powerlifting gyms, in CrossFit, and all these different niches of fitness. And I think it's really cool that you've gotten your flag in so many different gyms. Like everyone might be different in their flavor of fitness, but they are all under the same banner of like, we like to work out. And this is what we do. This is part of who we are. And you've built a community of such a diverse group of people. So what would be like 1 or 2 tips or pieces of advice for going and establishing and building that sense of community? Because that's a lot of like what we're trying to do with GoRX is, not everyone wants to go work out in a big box gym. And so we're trying to help build this community of micro gyms in your neighborhood. I can just open up my garage door and people can come in and work out. What would be, your advice to building a community of such a diverse group of people?
All right. Yeah. So to get the community going, I think the most important things is just establishing rules that people have to acknowledge before they can join. So our rules aren't like super technical. They're really basic. It's just like, don't be a creep, don't be an asshole, no selling. This is not a marketplace. And then no politics. Like I try to take all the most uncomfortable things that you see everywhere and pull them out of that group. So that way people could only focus on things that weren't divisive. And that kind of like sets a precedence for just a more welcoming space. And then people aren't there to talk shit about whatever it is they're going to talk shit about. We have had a couple people. There are some creeps out there, man. So we've had to ban some people and just have some discussions based around like DMs being dropped that were unsolicited, and people are taking selfies all the time. We've got men and women taking selfies all the time, shirtless, sports bras, whatever. And 99.9% of people are respectful, but you just want people to feel safe in whatever group this is, where they can be unapologetically themselves and not have to worry about like ridicule or like the other things that I had mentioned that just aren't meant to be in a place that you want to build a community. I'm not like, I don't like surrounding myself with completely like-minded people. Like, I like diversity and in politics and religion and all those things. I like to be around people that don't think like me, but I also don't need to talk about it all the time. I just like to be open-minded.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that makes sense. I like that kind of set of rules, set of standards for having, a purpose to your community. It's not this community isn't to solve all the world's problems or anything like that. It's to collaborate and find connection around this one specific aspect that is home gyms or home gym fitness or even just fitness in general, right? And so that allows for all of that ancillary stuff to just kind of go by the wayside so people can find that common ground. And then yeah, as they become more, more and more familiar and kin-like with each other, then they can take that conversation outside of the group and have whatever they want to have. But yeah, from being inside the group, that makes total sense to kind of have some of those rules and those little guidelines to live with in there. I like that. That's great. Let's see what around kind of the home gym culture and everything. What's most exciting to you right now on kind of what's going on? What do you see for the future with home gyms? I know it's kind of a hard question to answer.
Yeah.
What most excites you?
I used to be the Tetris home gym type, cram as much stuff as I could in a small spot and see what I could fit and what I could turn to make it work. I don't have that problem anymore, but something about that, like, really, it's one of the most satisfying things in the world when you walk into a jam-packed garage gym that's like so precisely placed that you can walk around everything and you can like put plates on and have the room for it, but just enough room for it. There's something about that like it tickles, man. It feels good. But as far as like what the latest things that I've seen in garage gyms, Fringe just dropped some 5 through 50 pound dumbbells with lime green writing and gorillas on them, and I'm all about it. But I need 5 through 100, and as soon as they go to the hundreds, I'll be getting a set of those. But I guess I haven't like really been looking at anything like really revolutionary. I've got, like I said, I've got enough space that I haven't had to like really look for that special multi-purpose piece in quite a while. I think like the last really multi-purpose piece that I scooped up was the GHD, and that was like a big deal to me. But now I just like grab whatever we need. So I'm always like kind of watching, I watch garage gym reviews and what's the home gym con, and I try to pay attention to like some of the new stuff, just in case, just in case I see something that like really gets me going. But I think garage gyms are important, or the home gym, mostly just for that feeling of freedom. Like it can't be taken away. And then I guess like if things were to go crazy again, anybody that does have a home gym, I mean, if they're tight on finances, they've got a gold mine in the garage. So I would love to see people think longer. I mean, it happened once. I do fully believe it will happen again. And as we get closer to an election year, the chances of it happening are probably greater.
That is true.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing. There's so much freedom in having your own space and being able to walk out here, like no dress code, no nothing. It's incredible. I love it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that encapsulates a lot of my sentiment around it. I think that one thing I really like about it is my kids get to see me work out too. because they wouldn't follow me into, 24-hour fitness or anything like that. And so I can already establish some of that mindset in them, even though that's what I would like to teach them as they grow up anyways. But, them being able to see it and lead by example from that standpoint and just do it at home, I think just it ingrains that a little bit more, and that's going to lead to healthier kids, over time anyways. And so I think I really like having the gym for that reason. And then it just obviously all the other aspects of it, right? It just saves time. I don't have to travel to and from a gym, so I don't lose out on that time. I can just go quickly get my workout in. I can grease the groove throughout the day. So if I'm in between calls or anything like that, I just run out there. I can get, a short 15-minute burst workout in, and if I have a busy day. And so I just think, there's so much about it that tends to be just extremely valuable from the standpoint of the freedom aspect that you talked about. I am excited about those Fringe dumbbells as well. I love those. They're really cool looking. I can't wait to see them in person. I know that Fringe I'm gonna be at home Gym Con, and so I know that Fringe is gonna have their booth there. So I'm hoping I get to see them there, get to hold them a little bit and check that stuff out. I'm excited about that.
We were trying to get a booth there, and then I was like gonna get a booth there, but our travel plans have just gotten so like consuming this year.
Mm-hmm.
I had to dip out on that one, but next year we're gonna make it a point to be there. I mean, that's like the best audience I can find is to go there. I'm not sure how many people show up, but that's the kind of people that I would want to be around. People that are trying to build out their own space or looking for the new revolutionary product.
Yep.
That's the kind of conversation I'd like to have. It's just with more people like that. So
Mm-hmm.
we'll make it a priority to be there next year. We've just got so much travel going on right now. It's too much.
Yeah, you were kind of mentioning that when I was talking to you on Instagram. You were talking about you've been doing these retreats. I don't know, is it a wellness retreat or just a fitness retreat in general? You want to talk about that? You want to tell me about that?
Yeah, man. We just wrapped one up 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still unpacking. I'm still unpacking up here and down here because it was something.
Yeah.
We had 31 people in attendance, and then we had 9 coaches. So we had 40 of us there. I knew a few people, but we had people fly in from all over the country. And the intent behind these retreats is to apply a lot of the tools that myself and my coach friends use to just operate better.
Mm-hmm.
I like to operate out of gratitude. Like I'm huge on gratitude, and that's a huge part of all of this. But we put everybody through a bunch of physical discomfort, like a lot of physical discomfort. It was February in Montana, so we were looking at temperatures of the teens. It was the teens. A lot of people from around the country aren't used to that weather to begin with.
Yep.
But we did cold exposure. We did wood-fired saunas. We did a hike to the top of a mountain
Mm-hmm.
in a couple feet of snow. And then we did like small group coaching. And the intent behind this whole retreat is to like break down the physical barriers. Everybody showed up with a wall, like 4 walls around them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody had their guard up. They didn't know what to expect. And throughout the weekend, like our mission is to like put a crack in all those walls and then watch them come crashing down. And then you get to actually meet that person.
Yeah.
Like you're not meeting them until that guard comes down. So we'd bust those walls down through different exposure, different exercises. And then at that point we could meet that person and we could reintroduce them to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a really beautiful thing. It was super emotional. It's weird, but it was amazing. And that was our first retreat we've ever done like that, was just that recent one. And it was so impactful and so powerful. Everybody went home, everybody showed up looking for like an answer. I think we sent everybody home asking more questions,
Mm-hmm.
but they all got to figure out who they are, and
Yep.
they could figure out where to direct those questions. And it was a really powerful event. We all stayed in an Airbnb. It was all inclusive. So we had chefs and we had, everything people needed for the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess we closed with breath work, like holotropic breath work. So that's like
Mhm.
super powerful. I don't know if you've ever
Yeah.
done that,
Is that
but
the
it's
Wim Hof method? Is that in
kind of, but on the
deep?
next level.
Got
It's
okay.
a different type. It's like a psychotic or psychoactive. I'm not sure which one you call it. You go for a
Maybe.
ride, man. You go for a ride and you don't need drugs to do it. Like you
Yeah.
go for an actual journey. It's a very lucid event,
Huh.
but it's also very emotional. Like it makes you confront like past traumas and like some negativity that you're deep
Yeah.
down in there, and it makes you face it. And it just leads to like really powerful releases, a lot of emotion. I know this all sounds like really hippie, and it was. I'm not hippie at all, but like this retreat was like a very spiritual type. I
Yeah.
mean, no religion, but very spiritual type
Mhm.
journey, and it was a beautiful weekend, man. I'm hooked. Like we're already putting together the next retreat in September. I think we're gonna have 50 people at this one,
That's awesome.
and we've sold quite a few tickets already to people that were just at the last retreat, but we'll be opening up those tickets March 1st,
Nice.
and that's
How do people get a hold of you for that? Just go to your Instagram handle or
yeah, they can just DM me on Instagram because I'd like to have a conversation before we sell tickets. I mean, it's a high ticket item. A
yeah.
lot of people are using payment plans, but it's like I said, it's an all inclusive weekend. We've got I don't know how many square foot, like a 15,000 square foot house or something like that for
Nice.
September,
Nice.
booked, and it's got I mean it sleeps 70 people or something. It's on
Wow.
Bear Lake in Idaho, and we've got all sorts of wild activities planned, and we've got some really amazing coaches flying in. They're not the rah retreats or events that you'd go to get like hyped up.
Hmm.
Those are to me that's kind of a dime a dozen, like
Yeah.
where you go and you have all these speakers that are just like hyping you up, and then you get all hyped up, but you don't even know like what the hell you're hyped up for, but you're hyped up and you don't know where to direct this energy. That's how most events are, right? Like it just makes you feel good, but then you go home and you're like, well, what the hell do I do with this? Like I don't
Yeah.
have any value. I'm excited. We're trying to implement tools and give people tools to take home, and then really build the relationships and community while people are there so they can like network with people there and take it home with them. I've noticed like I've been on this journey for a couple of years, but I've gotten like really into like the mental health and like the open minded part of this journey for the last year.
Yeah.
Like the spiritual wellness and like trying to fix some of the shit that I've been storing for a long time. And we just want to share that with people. That like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, that's what we want to do. And there's not a lot of people locally that I can share this stuff with. Like in my town, there's not a
Mm.
lot of people that are weird that are into this kind of stuff. So it's just really cool to be able to get 40 or 50 people together that are open-minded and into this stuff under one roof.
Yeah, and I mean it's an event like that where people are traveling to get to it and everything. It forces those people, unless they can just throw that kind of money away, right? It forces those people
Mm-hmm.
to really buy into what they're trying to do, and it creates this sense of responsibility to participate in every aspect, right? And so if you're putting your own efforts into actually getting to a spot like this, you might as well participate fully and try to experience every aspect of it so that you can get the greatest return
Mm-hmm.
on what you've invested, whether it be time or effort or even just money. And so, yeah, that's awesome. That sounds like a uh,
Yeah.
really cool
Yeah.
event.
This entrepreneurship journey's been wild, man. Like it started like selling shirts, right? Or selling
Yeah.
flags. And I've just felt called. And, I like to look for signs that I think are a nod from God
Mm.
that kind of draw me to certain things that are opportunity or things that like I'm passionate about that maybe I didn't know I was passionate about last year.
Hmm.
So like I mean where everything started was with this like the garage gym niche selling flags, and it's moved a lot into like these retreats are hosted by Dude That Lifts, but it's like I think it's different. It's more me as an individual at that point,
Yeah.
and me leaning really heavily into the coaching side of things. And I've started to develop a real passion for the coaching side of things and trying to help people like really get out of their own way and break down those walls.
Yeah.
Everybody's stuck in their own little prison that
Hmm.
they've built, a self-built prison. And it's really cool if you can escape.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. I think that's an awesome message, and it's a great it's a it's a great thing. I mean, it's a great aspect of what entrepreneurship is and what following kind of your passion is, that helps bring out even just a healthier side of yourself, right? Because then you're not fighting with yourself to have to go and do this job that you don't necessarily want to do, or go and take care of these tasks that you don't want to do because they don't fulfill you. But then the work that you're putting in now is probably even more work than you were doing before you started this journey, but you're more fulfilled doing that work than you would be ever, maybe working out in the oil fields or whatever. That's
Yeah.
what you were doing, right? You were in oil and gas before
Yeah,
jumping
man.
into this.
Yeah. Blue collar.
When you were out in those oil fields and you were working on that, were you did you ever think that you would be running fitness retreats out in the middle of Montana?
No, man. Like I always had like ideas, but I never put anything into motion.
Yeah.
Um, I had, and I still like 3 years later, I took on some consulting for the oil field. So I'm still doing that
Hmm.
right now. So yeah, I'm super busy, but,
Yeah.
um, July, I'm cutting all ties with that. So I'm super excited for that. But
Nice.
the catalyst to all this was getting laid off in 2020, man. I never, I was comfortable, had a really good, high paying job. We, like myself, my family, we had everything we could have ever like hoped for. And then like just keeping that job, we would have had anything that ever would have come up. We were good. But like the only thing I didn't have was all the time I wanted with my wife and my kids. I'd be
Hmm.
missing wrestling tournaments, missing this program, that program. And when I got laid off, it was really nice. Like it was really
Yeah.
nice being home and making it to everything and seeing my kids do all their stuff. And
Yeah.
then there was a shift there, man. Like, what can I do to stay here?
To have this more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You kiddos are in wrestling, huh?
Yeah. My son, he's 9. He wrestles.
Nice. Nice. That's awesome. I wrestled for a long time, 22 years. So,
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. He's finally getting the hang of it. He's been doing it for 4 or 5 years. And he's finally, this year, we're finally seeing that spark.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I think that's really exciting. It's so fun to see that. My son's been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu only just for the last, maybe consistently for the last 3 months. But
Mhm.
but it's really fun to see the transformations that take place when they're doing stuff like that. And they're actually,
Yeah.
going to practices when they didn't necessarily want to go, or, pushing through this or making some sort of stride on what they learned. It's really exciting. I
Yeah,
could talk
man.
about kids all day, but um, yeah, let's get back to home gyms and micro gyms and stuff like that. Let's see. As far as all of that stuff goes, I mean, do you have anything else you want to tell us about? Tell the people about when it comes to your business, where you're going, where you're moving, or anything like that?
Yeah, so the Do the Lifts brand is here to stay. We've got a monthly subscription for t-shirts. That's kind of where we try to get everybody to move to as
Hmm.
they move through our process. But yeah, each month we send out a shirt, and then with that shirt, they get, it's a unique shirt that doesn't get released to the website. And then once a month we do a call where I open myself up and let people know like where that design came from. Like
Yeah.
I design all the shirts, I design everything in house, and every shirt like every month is something that I need. So it's really fun to like focus on something I need that month and then just send it to like hundreds of people. And um, then I get to get feedback on like how they received it, like what they needed from that shirt. And like the shirts that go out monthly are definitely geared more towards like discipline and motivation. They're not just loud graphic gym shirts. There's
Mhm.
always a story behind them.
Yeah.
So we've got that. And then obviously we've got our website. We've got the new shirt that we'll be dropping this one here pretty soon. I'm like emo at heart, very much an emo guy. So I finally made the emo shirt. I've been trying to like create it in my head for like months and months and months. And I finally got it dialed. And we just printed like 5 of them today. I've got one. My wife's got one. Our print guy's got one. That'll be a fun drop. But
That's awesome.
We try to keep it fresh, man. Try to keep the website cycling. We do kind of appeal to all fitness. We're not niched down just to the garage gym as much anymore. I do have a soft spot. Obviously, I have a soft spot for the garage gyms, and anytime somebody tags me on Instagram in their garage gym, it's like an immediate, like I share it as fast as I can because like I'm just so like excited to see that. But yeah, you can find the brand dudethatlifts.com. We're on Instagram. I run the Instagram page, so we're at Dude That Lifts. Pretty much all socials is Dude That Lifts. There might be an underscore in one of them, but
nice.
Yeah, if anybody wants to reach out to me, they could just drop a DM on there, and we can start a conversation.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you have the Dude That Lifts Facebook community group, right?
Yep.
And you have your Instagram and everything, website, obviously. And then if people want to get a hold of you about trying to do this fitness retreat or anything like that, they just shoot you a DM. Would that be to do
they can just drop me a DM to Dude That Lifts.
Okay.
I mean, if they want to get to know me on a personal level, I'm Andrew Schubert official on Instagram. That's probably the best way to reach me.
Okay.
That or just the DMs and Dude That Lifts, and I can direct them where they need to go from there.
Nice. Okay. Cool. Great. Well, I mean, I really appreciate you coming on and kind of telling us your backstory and everything. I think it's awesome. It's an inspiration to not only myself trying to build this business and this brand with Jeff and Andrew and the rest of the guys at GoRx Fitness, but just being an inspiration to the physical fitness side of things too is really cool. It's fun to see. I've been seeing your content for a few years now, and it's been awesome to see the transition to the brand that you are today from where you kind of started. So
yeah, man, I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
I think what you guys are doing is very important. As this community grows for you guys, I mean, you guys can literally take over the entire fitness space. Our first, like, just some encouragement here, but our first building that we had was a shared building. My buddy was a personal trainer at the local gym here. Not really a box gym, but I think they had like 5 locations, not really a big franchise.
Yeah.
But he'd be seeing however many clients a day after he got off work, and just working long hours every single day. Really kind of a thankless thing in a public gym to be a personal trainer. I needed space, and I wanted to move out of the garage gym and out of the guest room. So I found a building, and I asked him if he wanted to share it. And we could build our own gym. He could train there. I'd be able to run a business out of like the one side of it. And then we'd have the shared gym floor. That way I could work out. I could build content. I could do whatever I wanted. And he could be training people. And once he moved out of that public gym and moved into his personal space, like that private gym, he exploded. So like I was over here growing, he's growing. We got to the point where we couldn't share a building anymore. He needed more gym space. I needed more print shop space. And so I moved out, and he devoured the whole building. He's adding on to the building. He's got so many clients, but he's also got like a bunch of high-end clients because it's private and people want that privacy. So I think like what you guys are doing is going to open a lot of opportunity up to anybody that really wants to. I think that there's really unlimited income based on, depending on location that somebody could get. As long as they've got their scheduling slotted right, I think that, the sky's the limit, man. And like pricing's not an issue. People, they can be in a private gym and not worry about anything and everything's taken care of. Like, you can charge whatever you want.
Yeah.
So I think I think what you guys are doing, I think just bringing the public into the private eye like that, I think it's a really great thing.
Yeah. Thank you. We agree. We think that it's going to eventually be the future of fitness, and I think it's going to be the future of how to access fitness, especially privatized fitness, right? And so we just because the trend is going that direction, and we're seeing boutique become bigger and bigger from the standpoint of the marketplace. We just think that somebody needed to build a platform that could handle that and do it the right way, and do it from a community standpoint instead of just a quick money grab. And so we're just trying to build the community as well as we can, and get it as close knit as we can, so that people can see how and what it takes to become a successful micro gym. And so that's what we're here for. When we ask people to reach out to us and everything, it's not, you're not getting a hold of just some of the folks within the company that are just giving you a bunch of documents that we have. We're going to meet with you and go through that process from start to finish, and really help you create a successful micro gym business. And so we're excited for the future. We think that we're on the right path and everything, and we're going to continue grinding away and try to make this as big as we possibly can.
Are you guys nationwide?
We do have gyms across the nation. We have gyms on the West Coast, Austin right now, a couple gyms in Austin, and then on the East Coast, up in the Adirondacks in New York, out in North Carolina, and then in Indiana and stuff like that. So we're growing. We've got all kinds of people that are interested or in the process of getting their micro gyms started. It takes a little bit of time for people to launch in a row already. When they come to us, we help them walk through the legalities of what it takes to become a legitimate business, right? To go get your permits and go find out if you need to have any sort of stipulations within your gym, or make any modifications to your location or anything like that. So we help people with that process. We help them with creating an LLC and everything, and we kind of help walk them through that, or at least encourage that from the standpoint of being the best way to build that and protect your personal assets at the same time. And then we help people with capturing insurance, trying to find insurance for it. And then we do waivers and everything. So we have default waivers that are in the platform. Otherwise, you can upload your own waivers. And that helps just protect you as you try to build this business. And so we think that it's extremely important to do it the right way instead of the fast way. And so that's what we've been trying to do, is just help people through this process correctly, and help them build businesses that will last and provide a positive value back to them. And then we're really excited. I mean, we've been making some partnerships with brands recently that we're really excited about. We partnered up with Body Solid Inc. And we've got some exclusive discounts with them and everything. And we have some exclusive opportunities for our affiliates on the platform to take advantage of. Same thing with Exponent Edge out of North Carolina. He's a budding manufacturer, and he's got some really cool equipment. And so we're really excited to be working with some of these brands, and we got a few more that are in the pipeline to come on for our affiliates to take advantage of. So we're really excited about that aspect as well.
That's awesome.
Let's see. I think we can probably wrap this up. That's been about an hour basically between both clips. Yeah. I think that your message is incredible, man. I think it's really awesome. It was a pleasure to get to meet you. I know that we've messaged back and forth a little bit through Instagram or whatever, but
man.
Put a face to the name and put a face to the brand is really cool. And we'll definitely try to have you back on as a podcast.
Thank you, man.
As our business grows. So
yeah, I'd be happy to come back.
All right. Thank you, Andrew, for joining me. Andrew at Dude That Lifts. We're really appreciative of you coming by and everything. And if you want to learn more about Dude That Lifts, we'll have all the different descriptions and everything in the episode link. And then you can go to Dude That Lifts on Instagram or Facebook or dudethatlifts.com. And then if you want to know more about GoRX Fitness or start your micro gym, go ahead and go to gorxfitness.com and sign up, or just tell us more about yourself, and we'll get a hold of you and we'll have a conversation. Follow us at gorxfitness.com. And this was the Gyms Near Me podcast, brought to you by GoRX Fitness.